All right, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Career Readiness Network today. Today's session is focused on career zones in the military. And my disclaimer before we get started, I'm excited to share this information with you. I am certainly not the military expert. I do have a lot of good information to share with you. Unfortunately, I tried to have a couple of folks join us, but they weren't able to today. But if you do have questions that I'm not able to answer, I will make sure that we get those answered for you. So please feel free to ask whatever you need. Just know if I don't know, I will get you an answer. My name is Samantha Jackson. I'm a college and career readiness consultant for Kent ISD. So I work with um, schools within Kent County. A quick housekeeping item before we get started. Please make sure that your Zoom name is some combination of your first and last name. I have had a couple instances where people have had the same name, so just make sure that it has your first and last name or first and last initial or something, just so I can make sure that you get credit for attending today. There's no additional sign-in form. Just make sure that your Zoom name matches. And if you don't know how to change it, if you kind of go to the participants list and hover over your name, it says more and you can click rename there. And if you have any problems with that, just send me a message and let me know that it's you with your first and last name, just so I know. So again, for those who haven't joined before, just kind of a quick overview of what I do. So again, college and career readiness consultant at Kent ISD. On the left is kind of our list of districts that we support. If you don't see your name on here and you are within Kent ISD, we do absolutely support you. Just reach out to me and I'll make sure that you get connected to someone as well. Um, Really, our primary purpose is helping schools engage in the K-12 career readiness planning process. That looks like a lot of different things for a lot of different schools, but some of that includes things like supporting EDP implementations, whether that's figuring out how to use your tool or what tool to use, providing professional development both regionally, like this one, as well as within schools and for specific teams, helping connect industry to classrooms through things like guest speakers, taking students out on industry tours, and then helping develop or find uh, career readiness resources. So whether it's something that you want to do and you just don't know what the best resource is, or if you've looked and you can't find what you're looking for, we're happy to help either find or create those for you. And for our career readiness network, some mindsets just to remember. The first is that this is inquiry based, so we learn through asking questions, exploring, and unpacking assumptions. Again, please feel free to ask questions throughout this, and I will do my best to answer or to get you answers. There's no simple answer. The learning process is not a straight line. And so understanding there are many great ways to approach this work, and I encourage you to share what you've done with others as we go along, and that this is problem solving and action oriented. So my hope is that our work here will have immediate connection and application in your K-12 settings. And if you've sent me a message with your name, I got it, just so you know. All right, so we are coming very close to the end here of our Career Readiness Network this year. We only have one additional session after this one. If you've missed any of these, we do have an asynchronous Career Readiness Network happening as well. And you are able to complete any of those if you've missed the live session. So you can't earn credit for both of them, but if you missed, the December session live, you are able to sign up for that and get access to all of those modules and complete it on your own time. I can't remember the deadline, but it's the end of May. So let me know if you need help getting access to that, but it's found on our PD Hub as well. And then just a reminder for those who've been with us, we have a Padlet. So this, I'll throw the link in the chat as well. This is just a place for you to share resources, connect with others. It's definitely not required, but just a place if you want to um, have that space to connect with others, ask questions, provide feedback on future sessions, things like that. All right, we're not going to spend a ton of time on this, but I do love to give you an opportunity just to meet other people that are here. So I am going to throw you into some breakout rooms real quick, probably just like 5 minutes or so, for you just to share. Let's see, how many people do we have? We'll do that. Um, so I'll put you into those breakout rooms and just share your name, role, school, grade level, and what is one thing you did for yourself over spring break? And then if you have time, feel free to chat about whatever else you'd like to. So I'm going to open up those breakout rooms for you. And if you're on a phone and like a computer or something, I'm really sorry because I can't tell. So you might be put in two different groups. Okay, I see one here. Um, Let me move that person. Okay, but again, I'm sorry if I don't catch it and you get put in like two different rooms on two different devices. I tried my best. All right, so I'll give you about 5 minutes here. All right, I know that was quick, but hopefully you were able to just connect with a new friend um, before we dive into this. All right, so to get started, want this to be just an open discussion. Would love to hear, you can either unmute yourself or put it in the chat. What words or roles come to mind when you think of military careers or military in general? So when you're talking to students or their families about, potential, military, what are some things that come up? Thoughts and feelings that you hear or that you have.
This is Deb. One of the things that I hear quite a lot is just concerns about who is the boss, the president or the Constitution, and just being straight up honest about that. And I think it's kind of putting a hamper on kids wishing to join the military, being put in those situations and not knowing, what the future holds. It's scary. I know parents too, they don't want to have that conversation. I've got kids that have to convince their parents not to cry the rest of their days because they want to join the military. And so I feel like we've got some tough conversations to have.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the chat, we're seeing servant options, leadership, assistance with schooling, options, process, many possibilities, opportunities for education. Absolutely. Anything else that you hear in those conversations or that comes to mind for you? Discipline? Yes, absolutely. Yep, we're definitely going to talk about ASVAB scores, Rhonda. Dedication. Great segue, Chelsea. Thank you for that. Yes, more options than just combat. Yes, Chris, you guys are taking the words out of my mouth. All right, so I want to start off with some misconceptions and then kind of the reality of that. So, big misconception is that all military roles involve combat. And that military careers are only for those not college bound. I think for a long time it was like you went to college or you joined the military. Those were kind of like your options, and that there are limited career options. When in reality, 85% of military jobs are non-combat. There are opportunities in tons of different fields, healthcare, technology, law, logistics, and lots of obviously opportunities for education and training benefits. We're going to do an overview of the 7 branches, and then dive deeper into kind of those career options. So the first branch is the Army. Their primary mission is land-based military operations. They're the largest and oldest branch of the military. Their key focus areas are combat operations, logistics, engineering, communications, medical support, and intelligence. There's a wide range of career paths, including engineering, healthcare, aviation, technology. Army personnel can be deployed for extended periods of time to various regions, which does include active combat zones. But again, with those benefits, including tuition assistance, veterans benefits, leadership training, and career advancement opportunities. Some of those kind of key career examples in the Army um, include within engineering, civil engineering, mechanical, combat engineers, cyber operations, IT specialists, medics, nurses, physical therapists, supply chain, finance, HR. And for a lot of these positions, and we'll talk about this throughout all of the branches, a lot of these don't require any prior experience or education. A lot of them, they receive training while they're there. So like my brother was in the army and he was a medic. He didn't go to college before going into the army. He was trained as a medic, and then he used that experience to help him get a degree when he finished, and to go into healthcare. So can be a good opportunity for students that have these interests. They can still receive some training and on the job experience in these areas. But then, of course, there are some that you won't be able to go straight into. Like if you're going to be, an army dentist, like you have to be a dentist first to go into that. But a lot of these, they do receive the training that they need when they're actively enlisted. The second branch we're going to talk about is the Navy. The Navy's primary mission is sea-based operations, and the global force for power production and maritime security. Key focus areas for the Navy are naval aviation, submarines, cybersecurity, nuclear propulsion, and logistics. There's opportunities in the Navy for specializations in aviation, nuclear power, and engineering. Navy typically does have very long-term deployments aboard ships or submarines with the possibility of being stationed at sea for months at a time. So a student definitely has to be aware of that and willing to live at sea for months at a time. The Navy does offer competitive salaries, a lot of travel opportunities, and excellent technical training in advanced fields. Some of those careers available in the Navy in STEM are nuclear engineers, meteorologists, sonar technicians, dentists, surgeons, public affairs, interpreters, electricians, machinists. So again, a wide variety for students of all interest areas. I actually had a Navy veteran speak at a school recently who was a meteorologist. And again, he didn't have any formal training or education in that area before. He went and learned all he needed to know to be able to do the job while he was there. Well, again, some like dentists, surgeons, you have to be trained, before you go, obviously. Right, then we have the Marine Corps. Their primary mission is rapid response amphibious, so land and sea assault force, and they are often the first ones on the ground. Their key focus areas are combat readiness, aviation, logistics, intelligence, and engineering. The Marine Corps careers are physically demanding and focused on leadership development, discipline, and teamwork. Obviously, all of them are physically demanding, to some level, but this is one that is particularly physically demanding. Typically, the Marines are deployed to dangerous areas and fast-paced combat environments. So again, if a student doesn't want combat, the Marine Corps is maybe not the best option for them. There's high physical and leadership training, again, those educational benefits, and a strong sense of camaraderie and tradition. You'll see that some branches really, really focus and have a strong sense of tradition, while others are much more in tune with like innovation and advancement. Some career examples for the Marine Corps, tactical, so infantry and aviation support, combat engineers and technicians, counselors, law enforcement, and then combat photographers and videographers. Again, so a little bit for everyone. Then we have the Air Force, whose primary mission is air and space superiority, cyber defense, and intelligence. Their key focus areas are aircraft operations, space operations, cybersecurity, logistics, intelligence. So again, lots of opportunities in the Air Force for jobs in aviation, technology, satellite operations, engineering, and intelligence. Air Force personnel can be stationed on bases globally, but they often have shorter deployment times compared to other branches. And they offer extensive technical training. Um, for example, the opportunity to become a pilot. So again, they don't have to go through a private pilot's course or go to college for it before. They can learn that on the job in the Air Force. And then excellent education and healthcare benefits. Some of those career examples in the Air Force within STEM, space systems operators, satellite technicians, network specialists, security analysts, biomedical and mental health, and broadcast specialists. The Space Force is the newest branch. Um, their primary mission is to protect U.S. and allied interests in space, cyber, and satellite operations. Key focus areas are space domain awareness, satellite communications, cybersecurity, and innovation. The Space Force falls under the Air Force, so you'll see a lot of overlap there. But this is ideal for students who are maybe interested in space, technology, cybersecurity. Uh, their deployment involves supporting global operations and developing technologies that defend U.S. space assets. And this is one that really focuses on innovation with cutting edge work in space exploration and technology, plus those traditional military benefits. Some of those key career examples in the Space Force include satellite and space systems engineers, cybersecurity, network warfare, digital defense, data analysis, and orbital surveillance. Then we have the Coast Guard, whose primary mission is maritime law enforcement, search and rescue, and environmental protection. Their key focus areas are navigation, emergency response, homeland security, and marine science. There's lots of opportunities for roles in environmental protection, law enforcement, and search and rescue missions. Their deployment typically stays closer to home. They're often stationed along U.S. coasts and waterways. There's a strong community service focus in the Coast Guard, excellent job stability, and some unique opportunities in law enforcement and rescue missions that they won't find in other branches. Some of those key career examples for the Coast Guard include marine science technicians, pollution responders, helicopter rescue swimmers, boat operators in the rescue and ops area, maritime security, mechanics, welders, electricians. So again, really heavy focus here on law enforcement and environmental. And then the National Guard. So the National Guard exists for Army and Air. So their mission is dual role service for federal and state missions. Excuse me. Disaster response and homeland security. Their focus areas are the same as the Army and Air Force, but with a strong local focus. So they'll either be in the Army National Guard or the Air National Guard. This is great for students who maybe want to serve, but also want to um, do something in the civilian sector as well. So the National Guard offers part-time service while pursuing civilian careers or education, along with full-time roles if desired. National Guard members serve part-time, but they can be activated for federal or state emergencies. It's a flexible service option. So while it does require a commitment still, it's a little bit more flexible in terms of time. Um, Offers those educational benefits and part-time pay while working in the civilian sector. So we see people from all areas enlisting in the National Guard. We have tons of teachers. We have salespeople, dentists, whoever. There's any career can also be in the National Guard. Some career examples. So again, it's really community based. So it's focused on things like disaster relief, wildfire response, aircraft maintenance, construction, medical, logistics, communications. So, some key considerations for all of the branches. Every branch does offer college credit, technical certifications, leadership development, and a pathway to both military and civilian careers. So, a couple of people in the chat had mentioned like the GI Bill. So, yes, anyone in any of the branches is eligible for those education credits. And they can actually be in college while they're serving. Again, my brother was in the military, and when he was deployed, he was actively taking college courses from his deployment site. Um, but they also can use it after they're done as well. The branches also do offer kind of career services for kind of that transition from military to civilian. And so they help them see how they can take what they've done in their military service and transition that into a civilian career as well. It's important to note that each branch does have different enlistment requirements. So those could include physical requirements like height, weight, body fat percentage, how fast they run. That will differ based on the different branches. And then we're not going to dive deep into the ASVAB, but that is the assessment that students will have to take in order to enlist. Um, and I have a list of resources at the end, and I included the link there. There's tons of practice tests and things that they can do. But the ASVAB helps them to see what careers they're qualified for. So just because, they look at this list and they say, "Oh, I want to be an aircraft technician," they don't necessarily just get to choose what they do. It is dependent on their ASVAB scores. So when they do that, their recruiter will go through it and help them see, what might be a good fit for them based on their interests as well as what their scores indicated. Some key points to consider. Lifestyle. So I've highlighted a few of these throughout, but each branch offers a different lifestyle in terms of deployment, family life, and work environment. So, for example, the Army and Marines may have longer deployments, while the Coast Guard stays a little closer to home. Physical and mental demands. So, some branches require more intense physical fitness, like the Marine Corps, while others, like the Air Force, certainly still require physical fitness, but may focus more on technical and specialized roles. Career development. So some branches, such as the Air Force and Navy, offer specialized career paths in aviation, technology, STEM, and while others, like the Army and Marine Corps, emphasize leadership and combat training. And the long-term commitment. So even though the enlistment requirements do differ by branch, it is important for students to remember that it is a long-term commitment and that students need to understand the benefits, the risks, and responsibilities associated with joining any branch. And yes, great point, Emily. The GI Bill can be transferred to a spouse or child if you serve for 10 or more years. All right, I'm going to throw a couple of links in the chat and I hope that these work. These are definitely not beautiful, but I wanted to give you something that you could use however you want to, share with students, whatever. If you're not able to access these, let me separate those. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, there's actually two links there. I'm sorry, it got all put together. But wanted to give you something that you could use with students or um, whoever to kind of look at, which branch might be the best fit for them. I think a lot of times students don't necessarily know the differences and they're like, oh, Air Force, I like flying, and and that's great, but there is a little bit more to consider. So the first, let me actually get out of the PowerPoint here real quick. Um, so the first one is kind of like I'm hoping my screen is still sharing. If it's not, let me know. The first one is kind of this comparison worksheet. Again, it's not beautiful. I just put something together for you. But again, you could use this with students to help them think about what they're really looking for. some of those comparisons among the branches. And this is generalizing. This, of course, there's some of all of this in all branches, but just kind of generalizing what each branch is and some questions for them to consider. The sec, oh, I'm so sorry. Let me make this accessible. That would definitely help. Change that. Okay. Okay. Hopefully that will work now. I need to do it for the second one too. Um, Let me do that real quick before I talk about it. The second one, again, not the best, but just a little bit more visual representation of kind of that same information. Okay, hopefully that will work for everyone moving forward. But going through their mission, their kind of unique features, and what students it might be best suited for. All right, so for the Army, this might be best suited for students who want lots of options and career variety and lots of structure and leadership development. Navy may be best for students who are interested in technology, travel, or the sea. The Marines want a challenging and physical/mental discipline. Air Force, if they love technology, aviation, or space. Space Force, if they're drawn to cybersecurity, satellites, and innovation. Coast Guard, for those who care about rescue, law enforcement, and the environment. And the National Guard, for those who want to serve locally while pursuing civilian goals. All right, we're going to shift gears here. And I had a couple of questions. Yes, you will receive a copy of the slides as well as the recording after we're done. So shifting gears a little bit, I'm going to go back and do a quick overview of our career zones. For those who may not be familiar, Michigan has identified 6 career zones that we kind of group all careers into. And then these break out even further into 17 career clusters. But today we're just going to focus on the 6. So the first one is arts and communications. These are careers related to the humanities, the performing, visual, and literary and media arts. Business management, marketing, and technology is for careers related to all aspects of business, including accounting, business administration, finance, information processing, and marketing. Engineering, manufacturing, and industrial technology is careers related to the technologies necessary to design, develop, install, or maintain physical systems. This is also the one that things like construction and the trades fall into as well. Health sciences are careers related to the promotion of health and wellness, as well as the treatment of injuries, conditions, and disease. Human services are careers in early childhood development, civil service, education, hospitality, and the social services. And then last is natural resources and agri-science, careers related to natural resources, agriculture, and the environment. Any questions about the career zones? Okay, I'm going to throw another link into the chat and hope this one I hope you should have access to. This will force you to make a copy. So you'll be able to do whatever you want with this document. You can type on it, mark it up, whatever you want. Let me know if the access isn't working though. Hoping no news means it's working. Again, just let me know if it doesn't work. But thank you, Lisa. For the next 10 minutes or so, I would like you to take a look at this document and you'll see the 6 career zones on the left and then some blanks on the right. You'll see kind of a key at the bottom with different military careers and the branches that they may be associated with. Again, it's not an exhaustive list of, branches, but just some examples. And so what I would like you to do is in your group, or you can do it alone if you would like to, but I am going to put you into some breakout rooms, but match each of those careers to their career zones. And then the second page of this has some additional resources for the different branches, as well as today's military, which is a pretty good overview of different branches. And so add at least three additional careers based on research from those. So could be from any branch, any career zone, just go ahead and do some exploring and add to the list. And while I'm doing that, if you did find some other ones, go ahead and just throw those in the chat, whatever the careers were and which career zone it falls into. So the first one, which way will be easier to do this? Um, okay, so for arts and communication, the answers were public affairs, graphic designers, and musicians. For the business area, we had the logistics specialist, HR specialists, and financial managers. Engineering, we had aircraft mechanic, civil, civil engineers, and nuclear tech. Health sciences, we had medics, nurses and dentists, and veterinary technicians. Human services, we have military police, counselors, and chaplains. And natural resources, we have environmental protection, weather specialists, and public health and safety. Any of those that are surprising to you or that you don't quite know how they fit into that career zone? Or if you found any additional ones, feel free to come off mute or throw those in the chat. And as I mentioned, the second page of this does have those resources. So resources for the different branches, as well as that kind of general one with today's military and the ASVAB website, which has those practice tests. Um, They're also, if from the ASVAB website, you can get to the ASVAB uh, career exploration area. Um, and students can find some more additional information there as well. All right. I do also have, oh, they're going to come up all separate. I do also have those links in the slide. So again, I'll send that out to you and you'll have them there. So each of them has kind of like a general one and then try to include kind of like a career specific one as well. And let me get back to my screen. Oh goodness. I have too many things open. Um, Trying to share a couple more links with you, but I can't get my links to come down. Oh my goodness. Okay, there we go. A couple of additional, or one additional resource for you is, again, hopefully this works. It'll have you make a copy of it. And again, you're welcome to use this, take whatever you want from it. But it is, oops, it is some information about the ROTC options in Michigan. And so all except for the Coast Guard have ROTC options. And so this lists the schools that have them. And so this would be for students who are maybe interested in doing ROTC before, enlisting. So some of you might have JROTC programs at your schools. This would be for college. You'll see some of them are listed as crosstown. So that means that their school does have a program, but they do it at another school nearby. So for example, Eastern Michigan University's Air Force ROTC is actually at U of M. So it lists those as well. And then also has some information about the Michigan National Guard. So again, feel free to use that as you would like. All right, that is all we have for today. Does anyone have any questions? And again, I'll share the slideshow. Yep. Let me fix those share settings. I'm fixing the share settings on the ROTC document right now. But I'll also send all of those out as well. I'll send those as just like Word docs or PDFs. Um, and again, feel free to use any of that information that you would like. All right, well, I'll hang out for another minute, but otherwise, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a great day.